Good evening. Tell so that they too can trust in the Lord. Christian education can easily fall into a struggle for survival. Then one only plods on while surviving from day to day. Then some days you become very discouraged. That is why it is important to reflect on the purpose of parenting. We need to keep the bigger picture and the longer-term goal in mind. Hence my question to you tonight. What is the purpose of your upbringing of your child or even your grandchild? On a human level, the goal is certainly to raise your child to be able to adapt and to function successfully in the world and in the time in which he or she lives. This is fine, but it may never be the ultimate goal of the education of Christian parents. The retelling of the glorious deeds of the Lord to the next generation has a specific direction, a specific purpose that we find in Psalm 78 verse 7. We read from verse 5. He decreed statutes for Jacob and established the law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach their children, so that the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget his deeds, but would keep his commands. They would not be like their ancestors, a stubborn and rebellious generation whose hearts were not loyal to God, whose spirits were not faithful to him. The ultimate goal of education is to teach your children trust, knowledge, and obedience to the Lord. They must be able to trust the Lord. They must be able to know that their help comes from the Lord, because they will need help. They must know to be able to flee to the Lord in distress, because they are going to be experiences of distress. They need to know that they can be anchored in him, because the storms of life are going to shake them. And this trust can only be where people have knowledge of God. And therefore children must learn from the Lord and not forget what they know about him. This constitutes faith, knowledge, and trust in the Lord. And without faith in the Lord, all education is superficial and deficient. This faith must lead to obedience to the Lord, because where people live in obedience to the Lord, they experience peace and harmony, and only then is their life successful. There's one more thing that they need to learn, and that is not to be like their ancestors. They were a rebellious and disobedient generation and was not faithful to the Lord. This may seem like a strange way of teaching to you. My child, do not do as I have done, do as I say. Although we should of course be examples to our children of a life in the Lord, there is something of the true gospel in this way of teaching. My child, do not use my example as a norm. Do not think I am perfect and your Savior. I make mistakes and I sin. Look at the Lord, look past me. Listen to his words, not mine. Follow the example of Christ and not my imperfect example. Above all, my child, the good news is that weak and imperfect people like me and you can find perfection through faith in Jesus Christ, in him alone. This is the gospel. May your education lead to your child belonging to Jesus Christ. Then it's worthwhile and successful. Then your child has comfort to body and soul in life and in death. Good night.